All right. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. And welcome to another Sustainability Insight sharing session. I think it's all right. I think we'll have more people joining in a bit later, so we can start first. My name is Grace. Good to see everyone today. So I hope everyone is having a good Saturday morning so far. And on behalf of Regenerative X Association, again, thank you everyone for taking the time to join this session on a weekend. And this sharing session is part of our association's ongoing effort to inspire meaningful conversations and share insights that can drive sustainable practices. So I hope everyone will enjoy the sharing today, and feel free to ask your questions in the chat box throughout the presentation by our speaker. So we have Mr. Ang Zixuan from Yogurt BB, who will introduce about himself and his topic today. So over to you, and I will stop sharing mine. Okay, yep, you can share yours now.
Oh, hi. Can you see the slide already?
Yep, can see the slide.
Let me test a bit. Give me a second. Okay, so shall I start?
Yeah, sure, can go ahead.
Okay, hello, good morning, everyone. Hello. But I try to share again.
Okay, sure, no problem.
Hello. Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Ang. I'm from Yogurt BB. So it's a glad honor to be here today with all of you. And thank you, Regenerative X, for organizing this Sustainability Insight sharing. So I would like to share a bit on Yogurt BB journey and our business architecture and our action for sustainability. So basically, we will share a bit about our vision, our initial visions, and our purpose of starting up this business. And then how do we align the purpose, the people, the process, and technology, and then how we, a bit of like our sharing, our experience that we learn from the ground, the key principles that we learn that we would like to share, and then how we map the sustainable ecosystem, and lastly, to remind all about how to advocate through action. So Yogurt BB is a sustainable wonders in a bottle. That's what we call it. Yeah. So framing the conversation, business and architect, they are probably two different terms. Business, I think everyone know what is it. Business is an organization that makes money, commercial, industrial, and then providing services, and so on. And then architect is the art of practice of designing and constructing. And putting these two terms together, how do we want to design and construct a business, and then in a way that which is sustainable, which is our main topic today. So this is Yogurt BB vision for a healthier life, a better environment, a better future from better people. A vision is very important for a business to stay on track, to actually envision what we want to achieve. Yeah. So let's break it down, how we map our actions and how we map our operation with our main vision. So first things first, the sustainability alignment. How do we align our action and operation sustainably? Okay, so there are three aspects that we look into: environmental, and then economy and local society. And then looking at this three-circle chart, and each of them are actually, look at the topography here, each of them are taking same space, same size, and then they are overlapping with each other. And what we are trying to convey here is that when we run a business, a sustainable business, we shouldn't emphasize only on any of the aspects. These three aspects to make things more sustainable. Yeah. So we need to integrate the sustainability efforts on these three aspects. So, and the illustration here, and there's a lot of icons here, which I will dive deeper later. It's a holistic integration that we have. Yeah, trying to map, on each aspect of the sustainability element, economy aspect, the environment aspect, and the society aspect. We integrate the structure, the business processes, the information, the technology that enable the business model, and then we need to look from this perspective, and then coming out with a strategic blueprint. The blueprint actually is a framework that help us to align the vision with the operation. So the business architect will helps to align purpose, people, process, and technology. Purpose, it should be designed. What is the issues? What is the problem of the current world? Yeah, how can we solve or provide a solution to these issues through a business architect? Yeah, through your business offering. And then the people, how your process, how your operation incorporate people into the operation. Yeah, aligning the human resources and organization cultures, value system, and in achieving the strategic objective, especially at this current point of view. AI, I think probably will replace a lot of automated processes, and then it will speed up a lot of things, and potentially a lot of people, what a lot of people are afraid is that it will replace human in the workforce. But is that true? We have to rethink of what is the value of people can bring into the whole ecosystem. Yeah? And then next is that how we align with the processes of the business, the operation, of the optimization of the utilization of resources, and then how do we map these things, and how do we come up with the improvement methods and innovations. Yeah, all these things have to be taught thoroughly when we design for business. Yeah, and then also design for sustainability. And lastly, technology play a very important role. Yeah, the technology that we mentioned here probably is not just the high tech like digital technology, artificial intelligence, and so on. You have to look beyond that. Technology exists in many forms. It could be biotechnology, it could be design technology, it could be ergonomic, and so on. Any field that we study, there's technology in it. Yeah, you have to look beyond, and how business capitalize from this technology, and coming up with a solution that solve the current real world problem. Yeah, so we have to align these four things and trying to find ways out of it. So let me dive into how we do it through this chart. Okay, so three aspects, they all are balanced. So how your gut baby start is that we localize the manufacturing and distribution whenever we go. Yeah, through the enabler is mainly through our technological breakthrough, which is the rapid fermentation of milk and turn it into yogurt technology. It's a technology that empower or enable the whole business model or business architect. So when we have that technological breakthrough, a very fast fermentation method, which enables to localize the manufacturing and localize the distribution. When we are able to localize the manufacturing, then we will minimize the cost on logistics, minimize the cost on storage, because we don't have to produce a lot to store them and then to send them all over to different places. So we can produce on demand basis. So when that is needed locally, we can forecast the need of local, then only we produce according to the demand. So by doing that, we will also be able to minimize surplus. Surplus is factored in as a cost. So combining these three aspects, we are reducing the cost. By reducing cost is I think no matter which business you are in, no one cost to be high, right? So reducing cost is the way for business, yeah, and offering the price. There are many ways to reduce cost for sure. You can, alter your ingredients. You can, outsource or whatever method. But in our way, we use this method to reduce cost, and we want to offer a fair price and competitive price for the local consumption, which contribute to the local economy as well. And we practice fair share of economy. Whoever take part in the yogurt BB economy per se, they will get a fair share. For example, if you are the agent of the yogurt BB or distributor, you will get one third of the portion of the revenue. And if you are the producer of the yogurt, you get one third. You are the supplier of the ingredients, you probably will get one third. So it's fairly distributed, the economy. So towards the end, we want to achieve business sustainability. And then environmental per se, when we localize manufacturing, we reduce energy use. Energy use for the logistic, energy use for the storage, and then surplus management and so on. So we reduce energy use. And then we will also reduce carbon footprint. When we reduce logistic, for sure it will reduce carbon footprint. Then when we minimize surplus or minimize wastage, we will reduce carbon footprint. And we reduce single use. Single use is our main enemy today of fast consumerism, where people buy things, then they quickly use the thing and they throw something. And then it's a linear economy model where people don't design the circularity. For example, from you go into the hypermarket, how much is those packaging being recycled or reused or repurposed? From the data, per se, only 5%. Where does this 95% go? So it's considered single use. Single use actually is harming, straining our resources, our valuable resources from the natural world. So at Yoga BB, we reduce single use, we avoid single use, and then we reuse our packaging, we reuse our cooking utensil whenever we can, and so on. So we fight single use, and then we perform waste segregation so that we enhance the chance of recycling rate or repurpose rate. Yeah, waste segregation means that we perform like a treatment to our waste that we create, and then segregate them, and then prevent contamination, and we treat them and channel them to the right place. It's either for repurpose or recycling. So this effort is meant to care and being responsible for the environment. Is operational. And then on the society side, which is the people that we live together with at the locality that we live in, or we set up our business. So we hope to offer a viable probiotic, functional food, nutritious food, affordable food for people. So this will actually, in the longer run, potentially it will promote health in the people, the well-being of health of the people. And we also practice local empowerment. Local empowerment simply means that wherever we go, we are not actually just handling the business by ourselves. We partner with people, the local people. We transfer the technology, transfer the knowledge, transfer the experience, and then we work together to copy and paste the similar operational framework, business framework to the locality. So we are assisting them, and then assisting the local partner. Yeah, and this will for sure offer local job opportunity, and then they will localize their resources use as much as possible. So moving forward from this concept, this is not just concept, it's also about impact measurement. Yeah. So from vision to impact, we want to measure change. We want the authentic commitment through the operational commitment that we have. And then we want to catalyze a systemic change, probably to revolutionize how food manufacturing and distribution ecosystem should be. By through localization, we are able to influence the local community. Then they, for example, we have this reusable packaging. Reusable packaging, and it's a not single-use packaging. Consumer buy our product with the packaging, and then they return to us. So towards the end, it's like a two-way thingy. Slowly they will adopt this sustainable action in their lifestyle, and then they send back, and then they are supporting our business operation, reducing the cost, mitigating waste from the landfill, and so on. So it will create a ripple effect. It's bit by bit. And then we also, through our business, we try to redefine the liability for a sustainable future. Okay, what do we mean by redefining liability? Conventional manufacturing practices, packaging. Who is liable when the consumer finish a product? Who is liable? In reality, there's no one held accountable for the waste that is being created, the overproduction, and then the usage of the natural resources. Everything is from nature, right? The container, the material is from nature, the food, the cow's milk, and so on. All those are from nature. So we are depleting the natural resources. If let's say we don't use it sustainably, we don't consume it in a sustainable way. So who is liable currently? Is it manufacturer? Is it government? Is it the local community? Is it NGO? From what I see, there's no one liable for those things that those things that we create. Waste, overproduction, unethical thing. It's regulated by law, but towards the end, who is liable? Of course, the natural world. Yeah. Of course, towards the end, it's okay. We manage our waste properly. We send our waste to proper waste management system. That's done. If you are that kind of manufacturer, but they can throw a lot of things because they can afford to pay. After they pay, they clear their waste. Then it's not their liability. Then it's to someone else. Then towards the end, who take those waste? It's Mother Earth, landfill. Yeah, and then they operate like that. How long? How much resources that we can drain? How much resources that of nature that provide to us they can offer? And what are the long-term impacts to us, humankind, and other living things on Earth? So we really need to redefine the liability. Who are liable? Yeah. So for your BB case, we take the liability. We hope that whatever we created, we are liable when it's end of it or during the process. Does it harm people and so on? Yes, we are liable. So a bit of sharing of what we have create or achieved, or a bit of compilation of data. We roughly produce 1.5 tons to 2 tons now of food at Yogurt BB Kuching. Our revenue should be around this range, 18,000 to 25,000. And our operation expenditure is about 15,000. So conventionally, if using this method or conventional method, we produce a yogurt, we keep it in a container, the consumer buy it, and then they finish the product. Okay, they throw it into the bin. Then that's it. End of the cycle. So conventionally, if let's say using our statistic of between 2020 to 2022, we produce 11 tons. By having that, we should already use 90,000. 11 tons of yogurt should use about 90,000 of the small yogurt containers that normally sell in the market. But in our case, we only use 4,005. And this 4,005 is actually reusable. They are reusable. So we create much lesser waste, and our waste is nearly 100% managed by us. When consumers send back, even in a bad condition, we take them, we recycle them. Yeah. So when we localize the business, we can actually liable and manage our own waste that we create. Okay, that is one thing. And then energy use. We talk about energy. We talk about lower carbon footprint. we measure our electricity use monthly. The SEB Care platform, which is a very good platform now, we can track our energy usage. And then if let's say there's a hike, we will mitigate through solution, through strategy. So from 1.5 tons of food that we produce monthly, our average electric bills is around 420 to 450, around this range. Yeah, this is quite a reason that so that there is, this is our result cut. And then landfill, we measure, we take this waste very seriously, not treating the waste that we already created, but we actually mitigate waste. A waste is not a waste when you actually define them properly. Yeah. To us, a waste is something that is not recyclable, that is not biodegradable, and there's no use. So by these three definitions, we define that as waste. So we roughly only produce less than 20 kgs per month out of so much food that we produce. Less than 20 kgs per month that we send to landfill. Then that is the result of how we practice waste segregation, reducing surplus, reducing waste. That is the result. And optimizing and managing the resources use, energy efficiency. From the overall operational expenditure, we spend less than 5% on our energy and resources, energy usage, which is considered quite low. For manufacturing practice, normally they will consume 10 to 15%. We manage to cut to this much. So a few key principles or some advices or suggestions that we would like to offer from what we learned from the ground. Key principles for the sustainable impact. First thing, I think we need to have like a mindset shift. Okay, not seeing issue as an issue. Look at the pictures. There are 3 pictures here. So we see waste, food waste, a lot of food waste. Yeah. So if you are like, want to brainstorm for a business, for like a impact business, purpose-driven business, what would you do? Perhaps a lot of practices, they just look at the waste. Yeah. Okay, maybe I can compose, for example, I can compose the waste into fertilizer, organic fertilizer. I can mitigate, send the edible one to those who need it, and so on. But is that a long-term solution? Which I wish each of you could ponder here. Is that a long-term solution? Yeah. How we can reframe these problems? Yeah. Is there any possibility we trace the root cause? Can this waste be prevented? Yes. I would say yes, because what? Because we do it. We are able to reduce. Our Yoga Baby is close to near to zero waste manufacturer. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that having this shift of mindset, we don't just look issue as an issue. We trace the root cause. We find a solution. A solution which is, we mitigate the waste and perform intervention in a systemic way throughout the whole ecosystem. So towards the end, we don't want to see food waste. We don't want to see that much of organic waste. Yeah, this is just one example. Look at other issues as well: environmental issues, people health issues, economic issues, and so on. Yeah, having a shifting of mindset is very important. Don't just look at issues as issue. Okay. So second point would be like from generalization to localization. What do I mean by generalization is that there's a lot of sustainable framework, sustainable methods of doing things and so on, which is, I think, researchers, industry players, and so on, they successfully nail it down through their hard work. But I think localization, it will need another round of hard work to look into the local context, finding what is actually happening. How could we adopt and adapt the general methods into a local functional solution? Yeah, not just copy and paste. Copy and paste, it couldn't help with anything. Yeah. So I think we really need, for example, the yeah, we have waste issue here in Kuching, and probably we have waste issue in probably somewhere else, Semenanjung, KL. But the root cause of the waste could be different. Yeah, the pain point could be different. So we have to localize the solution and not just offering a solution that is already a very generally known solution. Okay, so adapt the sustainable practice to the local needs, context, ensure it is relevant, and that will provide a deeper impact and long-term impact. So I want you guys to read this the passage. Sarawak 2023 data. Okay, we show a decrease in waste disposed at the facility and increase in the recycling waste. Okay, roughly 700 tons of municipal waste annually, and then it's a huge decrease from 2022, nearly 8,000 metric tons to 6,500 metric tons in 2023. That's a huge decrease. Okay, and then recycling waste increased from 2.15 to 23.5 metric tons in 2023. Looking at this data, what does it, what give you, what kind of thought that you have after reading this data? For myself, yeah, oh, it's a good news. We have decrease of waste. Yeah, we have more recycle waste. But think carefully and ponder. Do you want any of the figure above to keep increase year by year? Meaning to say, oh, we have more recycle waste. Meaning to say, when we have more recycle waste, meaning to say we also have more waste, right? So the actual solution is not just about managing the waste. I think towards the end, it's about reducing. A real sustainable way is about reducing. So the third point which I would like to suggest is that when you want to start a project, a business initiative, designing the business for yourself, start with the end in the mind. How does your business, the produce, the output of the product ends? Yeah. For example, you have a product, a food product or manufacturing product. How does this product end? Okay, end with the packaging at the landfill, or you want it to be recycled, you just put a recycle logo here. So does that really being recycled or reused or repurposed? So how do you design a real solution from the ecosystem or systemic way? What is your long-term vision? Yeah. So perform these reverse engineer steps to get there. So you will that I will say that is a method for sustainability business architect. And go beyond being a trader. What do we mean by a trader? Oh, there's currently already an existing eco-friendly product, per se. Eco-friendly product, for example, rice straw. Okay, rice straw is better than plastic straw. Yes, no doubt. It's degradable. Probably slightly more cost, not cost that the cost is slightly higher. But then, is there a solution? It still consume resources, natural resources, edible resources, rice to make into straw. So as a trader, or someone can produce that in somewhere in Thailand. They produce and supply to us. Okay, I'm running a sustainable solution. But you are being a trader. I think we have to think beyond that. Trader, okay, you offer a product, a ready product, which is good. But I would encourage all of you to become a service provider and a solution designer. Do we really need a straw? How can we actually bring this awareness? What kind of solution that we can have to replace this straw? It's a resources that is not, to be frank, not really needed. Yeah, but I'm not trying to define it here. We have to think from that perspective. What kind of solution that we can design beyond what is currently already available? Yeah, dive deep. Avoid convenient. It's very convenient. I just have to order one container in. Sarawak, I supply throughout Sarawak. Then I'm running a sustainable business. Is that true? Probably yes, for the time being. But to me, this is not very sustainable. Yeah. So dive deep. And then build a real local foundation. What is really needed? Yeah. What is really needed locally? What need to be done? Yeah. So yeah, the reason I think everyone know what's happening at the world now, trade war happens and then escalating. Yeah, I don't know where we will head to. Yeah, real war happen. I don't know, but let's ponder what kind of business can sustain through this time. You know, when we have trade war, the imported things is more expensive. From speaking on behalf of Yoga BB, are we actually affected by this trade war? Yes, a bit, but not that much because we localize most of the things. Localization as in when we produce yogurt, we produce locally. Yes, we import our container, we import our raw material, but that only actually accounting for about 20% to 30% of our total cost. Okay, 20 to 30%. Then if let's say the rise of the things is 10 to 100%, from that 20% of our total cost, a rise of 200%, it doesn't really affect us that much. We still have another 80% in our hand because we capitalize on the local energy, local water, local people, and so on, local distribution channel. So we still are sustainable in that way. Let's think about it. So let's map the sustainable ecosystem. So what is we're trying to map the stakeholders. There are different stakeholders in this world, right? The government, from the academia, from the industry, from the civil society. So they represent different body and different power, different status, and different operational model, and different roles and responsibility. And then this role and responsibility have to be, I think, clearly defined. Who? For government, what is their role? Financing, policy making, coordinate among different stakeholders, managing the natural resources that we have or other resources that we have, the tax that we have, that the tax money. So government should do their job. Academia, research and development, educate, incubate future entrepreneur, and so on. This is their role. Civil society, they are part of a community. They should be competent, you know. They should have practiced lifelong learning to learn about what is a real sustainability practices, and then keep up with the trend, keep up with the practices and solutions, collaborate with different people, and then understand their rights as a human. Then industry, they are business player. They are probably the driving force of the economy. Then they are the one who commercialize product, providing service. So different stakeholders play different roles and responsibility, and they should also hold their own liability. Okay, so I think there are many blind spots here. Blind spot. So you have to actually, you know, think thoroughly what could be overlooked. Yeah. And then among these stakeholders, collaboration is the way forward. Partnership, as mentioned in the Sustainable Development Goal, partnership. How can we partner and then foster this sustainable practices through business architect? Yeah. So there are so many kind of collaboration. For example, how can an industry collaborate with an academia? Let's look at their roles and responsibility. Okay, perhaps we could look at the R&D practices developed by the academia. Then they research, they come up with a solution. Then industry players could practice it in the real world, testing it out. But what if academia wouldn't want to collaborate with the industry, for example? Yeah. they have a product, but they want to commercialize it themselves. Yeah, but then they don't have the capability to reach the market, to reach the people, to do business negotiation and marketing and so on. But they want to hold on to their research, innovation. What will happen? The good innovation wouldn't be out, and then probably, the academia will lose focus. They have to take care of the research and development activity. Now they have to do commercialization, which is another big chunk of cake. So it's a bit too greedy to achieve this thing. Yeah. So this is one of the reasons I think why I want to mention is collaboration, and then by spelling out the roles and responsibility, and then work with each other. And lastly, I would like to remind, I think many have mentioned this, advocacy through action. You have to, act on it. But how many? I think try to find a pattern. How many are actually working on it, working on a real solution? Yeah. From what I see, a lot of organization of people actually still capitalizing from the trend. Yeah. And very, very little that we are working on the real solution on the ground. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's good. Yeah. It's good that actually people wanted to contribute to this trend as so sustainable development goal, yeah, green economy, circular economy, you name it, or ESG. Yeah. But what I want to say is that what is action? What is real action? Going to the ground, get your hands dirty, work on the things, design a solution, test a solution, iterate. When there's failure, iterate. Yeah. Don't just stop at bringing awareness. Don't just stop at teaching other people how to perform sustainable practices. Towards the end, to me, I translate it in a way that if I'm here doing only like advocating alone, advocating like raising awareness, teaching people what is sustainability, then I'm pointing one finger. I'm pointing all my fingers to other people, but I don't have a ground. I don't have the real action. So if everyone is doing that, what will happen? There's no one on the ground. No one on the ground working on real things. So to see the real change, we have to start from ourselves. That's what I'm trying to say here. Walk the talk. So I think that's all from my sharing. And then if any of you are interested to visit and then have a tour on how we run our business, operate, and then how do we actually incorporate in our daily business activity, we are here. Yeah. Opposite Viva, if you are in Kuching, Viva City Mega Mall, there's a traffic light, just come in, and then we are here. And then we have a new project. This project is supported by Yayasan Hasana and SDEC, SDEC. And we are calling for apprentices. If you are keen, you can reach out to us. We will offer this on-the-job training, and then we will provide you insight on sustainability. You will get to serve and work here, and then actually and then run a real world project by yourself, and then grow your skill for the future. Yeah. So you can contact me through this contact number, and you may follow our Facebook page, our location page for latest news and updates. I think that's all from me, and thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Ang, for your insightful presentation and sharing. So we'll now have a short Q&A session. So if any of you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat. But while waiting on the questions, I do have one, because since you mentioned on the food waste earlier, so maybe we can talk a bit about it, and maybe you can also share some ways or things that you are doing to manage them as well. Because I think you mentioned you had like a composting thing on nearby your shop earlier, I believe. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's a story. I'll tell you in a story form. How do we manage our organic waste, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In the bigger macro view, the waste generated from yogurt baby, per se, for Kuching case, we run event. When we go to event, for sure there was some waste. Yeah, the container that we bring and so on. But when we design, when we operate, we will mitigate, we will try to avoid single use, as per se. But for those unavoidable waste, for example, we collaborate with another food supplier. They pack it in the plastic packaging, and then they try to sell. For example, noodle. Then 20 pack. Probably there are 5 pack left. So what do we do with that 5 pack? We give it out for free, and sometimes we can't give it out. We take back, and then we segregate them. Then they are organic waste, and they are contaminated recyclable waste, like the packaging. Yeah. So we segregate them accordingly, and then how we treat this organic waste is that we try to bring back and then channel to our composting bin, yeah, towards the back. And earlier on, I have my own practice. I collect my organic waste in the bucket, and then I ferment them, and then when every week I will bring home and bury it under soil, because it's still manageable. Yeah, because we have very little waste, so it's still manageable for me. I bring home, but then slowly I learned that it's not that sustainable, because I have to travel the waste from here to home. It's tiring for me, and then it consumes petrol to send, and then it will contaminate the environment as well. So later on, I set up like a composting department or a venue near my shop. It's just behind my shop. So all the organic waste that I collected, I send there. Then I manage, through the natural process, manage to attract a lot of natural decomposer, black soldier fly, worms, and then after the black soldier and this thing came, right, the insects came, right, birds came. You see a whole small little natural world there, and I think which is good. Yeah, which is good. And I don't have to bring back. It's not that tiring, as in it's more sustainable. And then what happened after this organic waste? It's a fertilizer. We can feed to our plants that we plant, or we can give to our neighbor and so on. Yeah. So this is how we treat our waste, organic waste.
Okay, great. That's great to know. All right, so I think there's this, I have another question here. I think more people will be interested is on how do you balance the interests of different stakeholders? So let's say, for example, profit versus environmental concerns. I think this one is quite interesting, how we can balance this. Make money or save the planet, not one or the other, but how we can balance it.
There's twofold to see this now. Twofold of perspective. If I'm a pure capitalist, if I'm a pure opportunist, if I'm a pure businessman that I want to be rich, yes, of course, I will incline to the profit side. Yeah. And this is a life philosophical question to me also. Life philosophy is about choice. How much we need, how much we want. Right. Yeah. How much money we need and how much money we want. To me, sufficient is good. Sufficient means what? It's very blurry also, right? Sufficient means you earn money, you have a bit of saving for security purpose, and then that's it. And then how to balance your practice, how to balance is making profit and also balance the effort on the environment, right? Yeah. We have to really design and architect our solution, look at the root cause of the problem, and then design. Eventually, you can capitalize on waste a lot. How do we capitalize on waste? Are we making profit from the waste? People returning this? Yes. The cost for this bottle is 4 ringgit. People return it for 2 ringgit. We buy back for 2 ringgit. Meaning to say our cost for the next cycle is 2 ringgit. we reduce 2 ringgit, and it means what? It increased 10% of our profit margin. From our last year data, if I'm not mistaken, we collected, I think, 6,000 container. Last year alone, 6,000 container. So if let's say per container, yeah, help us to increase 10% of margin or 2 ringgit. It's 12,000. 12,000 ringgit means what? Means 6 months of a worker salary by this practice alone. So can it be balanced? Yes, definitely. But just that you have to design the business architect. You have to understand your business model, find the way to go around it.
Right. Okay, so I think one last question before we end the session. What barriers stop more businesses from adopting sustainable driven architecture? So in your opinion, what do you think? What are some of the barriers that are stopping more business from going to this? I guess it was related a bit to just now, our profit versus environment concern as well.
Okay, what stop business?
Yeah.
I think most business players, they still consider only from the cost perspective. If you emphasize on that too much, I think there's no transition from what you have now to a new method. But of course, we also need to consider costs. Let's say why? Okay, we have a lot of ESG consultant now. A lot of consultation, consultant, they don't practice by themselves. They consult by ideal, by theories, by standard that which is stated by government and so on. So they don't have a practical solution. A practical solution should be cost effective, should increase profit margin, should help with the environment, should help with the people. So I think the main barrier view, I think the view, the authentic view to transform from the current to a better version of a more sustainable version. That is one. Second will be the investment. And can you invest it right, or can you invest your time and energy to solve a problem one at a time, bit by bit? Your gut BB doesn't actually structure our framework within one day. We have our ideal, we have our design, but we have to test it on the ground. We have to iterate and then improvise our system bit by bit for years, for 4-5 years to achieve the stability.
Okay, all right. I think no further questions on the chat as well. So maybe if we can all have a quick group photo. Those of you could turn on your cameras, please turn on. And also please stay tuned to our social medias as well for updates on our next sessions. And do take a moment to fill out the feedback form which has been shared in the chat. So I'll see if I'll give you guys a minute. For those of you who could turn on your cameras, please do feel free to turn on. If not, it's okay also, no worries.
Would I stop sharing my slide?
It's okay, you can leave it on it. Okay, no worries. No problem if you want to. But okay, it's okay, no worries. I'll just take a quick one. I'll just take a quick one first, no problem. Since I think maybe some of you guys are at home. No worries. Right, I'll just take 1, 2, 3. Okay. No worries. Okay, so I think that's all for today. Thank you once again to Mr. Ang, and of course all our supporting partners, and have a good day. If you guys have any more questions, you know where to contact him, so you can ask him later, no problem.